Hi everyone, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Oak National Academy, which was set up pretty much close to the start of schools closing down, and why I think we should look into using it as we start to reopen school. So, what actually is the Oak National Academy? If you haven't been to their website, I'd strongly recommend it, but I'll try and give as good an overview as I can over the next 5 minutes. It is online lessons by teachers, and they sort of brand it as lessons by teachers for teachers, and they really do live up to this. There's no added gumph. They really do feel like proper lessons by proper teachers. There's no sign-ups or logins, so you can just literally log onto the website, click through the very, very easy menus, and you go straight to the lessons for each year group. So there's no problems with sign-ups or logins there, which I think is a big attraction. There's a week-by-week sequenced curriculum. You can find that here if you go onto the actual PowerPoint and click through. It's a really nice, lovely document, actually, that makes it really, really clear what they've covered and what they're going to cover. As with all of these things, you can be a little bit suspicious because there's tons of educational companies out there that want to kind of make money by claiming to be the next big thing. This isn't really like that. It was backed by the DFE. It was set up, or it's kind of, as the wording that they put it, is incubated by, but kind of managed by the Reach Foundation, which set up a Reach Academy in Feltham and is a fantastic school that me and Sam Holmes have actually visited. I actually personally know some of the people that were involved in setting this up, and they're fantastic. And some of the people giving the actual lessons are absolutely fantastic teachers. And in fact, Adam Boxer was one of the guys that we watched for Research Ed, and he's actually doing some of the science lessons. So they have some of the best educators out there doing these lessons on this on this platform. So that's pretty exciting. It's also worth mentioning that the head teacher, Matt Hood, is one of the founding members of the Ambition Institute. It's actually where Lindsay Houston went off to work, which is another fantastic organisation that trains wannabe head teachers. So they've got really, really good credentials. It's obviously a non-profit making exercise. It really is just for teachers and students to use. And it's there's no sort of ulterior motive there. What do they offer? Well, year 7 to 10, you've got art, English, geography, RE, history, science, maths, music, and Spanish. Hence why I'm only sending this video to you. I'm going to talk through some of the best aspects of the practice that I've seen. I've watched quite a few sections of the lessons. I just want to highlight why I think they are a good thing. So you've got really good, clear presentation, and the tech is obviously faultless because it's been made by people with professional advice. So this is kind of a typical, this is the typical view that you'd have. We don't have sound problems. You don't have the issues that you have when you're trying to run live lessons with kids signing in and signing out. You yourself don't have any tech problems when you're delivering it because obviously somebody else has already delivered it. They've adjusted the audio to make sure that it's all clearly audible. And the displays themselves are also really clean and clear. It's worth mentioning that all of the lessons that are on the Oak Academy go through a kind of evaluation process where multiple people see them and give feedback so that then the final product that comes out is actually the product of a lot of discussion. So you've also got clear diagrams. I've noticed this across pretty much all the lessons that I've watched. Really nicely designed diagrams. If you've been in CPD Club, you'd have seen us talk about dual coding, and this runs through pretty much all of the lessons that I've seen. Excellent diagrams with good explanations on top. We've then got these live explanations. So I saw one science lesson where they had this really, really good diagram of whatever that thing is, and the explanation on top of it was then live. So he was live writing as he was talking, which again is just fantastic practice, and something that probably we would not be able to do, and at least most members of our departments would be very uncomfortable with learning how to do that. And so that's a really good opportunity for us to access that technological expertise. You've got really good explanations from the ground up. So this is a good example that I saw in science, starting with a blank sheet, and then what the teacher did is he was talking about the history of the atom, and so we're starting to talk about the current model, and as the lesson goes on, he built it up and spread out through the page, talking through each stage. Now, in the videos, they also have sections where they say, okay, pause and now do this, pause and now do that. And students then do tasks during the lessons. Each lesson is about half an hour long. But obviously with the pausing, it gets to about an hour. So they have, this was a really nice slide that I saw from a history lesson, where you had sort of a classic case of showing students a good model answer. And again, this is the kind of thing that will become increasingly hard for us to do as we're having to offer this remote and to students who are in school. And so when you've got this ready-made for you, it seems like a really good option to go for. Okay, so the final thing to mention is the quizzing. So they have some good quizzes. There's a quiz at the start of every lesson and at the end of every single lesson. And that's the students can just live do that, and then they live see their results. And from what I've seen, the questions seem to be well structured. Again, they've gone through that evaluation process. Okay, so summary. We've got a quiz at the start and the end, carefully chosen questions. We've got resources well chosen, dual coded, a clear presentation of them. You've got really clear explanations as well. And there's, as I said before, a well-sequenced curriculum that you can have a look at for yourself. Now, this is the bit where we sort of talk about what we at Bridge want to do. So the first thing to say is that there's absolutely no expectation for any subject leader to use Oak National Academy. It is totally up to you. The first thing that will crop up into your mind is this is all very well, but I am at a different point in the curriculum, or that is not on our curriculum. So this is perfectly fair, and it may just simply be that you say no because we just don't cover that. You know, there are some lessons on Judaism that we just don't cover in RE at the moment, and so our answer would be no. However, for many of the subjects, when you look through the lessons that have happened so far, you will probably have either covered it before or will cover it in the future. So what you could do in half term 6 to make your life easier and potentially to make your lessons actually better is you could shift over to follow the Oak Academy curriculum for half term 6. And so if you were doing science, you could shift over onto particles, and it may be that they studied particles 6 months earlier, but actually that revision is going to be super useful. And the quality of what will be provided will be much higher than anything you'd be able to rustle up over the next couple of weeks. So clearly, this is the main question that will cross your mind. But I think what I would say and what we would say as the leadership team is that you can feel free here to be creative and to say, well, look, you know, we can stop this scheme halfway through, because it's more important that we can give a coherent, highly structured, well-resourced group of 12 lessons, and that's what Oak can offer me in half term 6. That's absolutely fine and legitimate, particularly if you feel as a subject leader that you won't be able to offer as good an option using your own resourcing. If you don't like some of the lessons, you don't have to do them. Simple as that. So I haven't actually found one that I thought I didn't like, but if you don't like one or two of them, you can simply say to students, do lesson 1, do lesson 3, do lesson 5. You can just skip them out. Tracking the quizzes and engagement, they do not hold data. So what this means is you can't track it directly. You can't pull up an easy spreadsheet like we can with forms and see who's done it and who hasn't. What some schools have done is they've asked students to screenshot their results from their quizzes and then to put them into whatever shared area you would have. We can call parents and see if they're engaging in the Oak National Academy. This will be broadly similar, to be honest, with our system now. It's very hard to track whether students are doing what we're setting them at the moment. That's the nature of remote learning. So there will be weaknesses here. But we are also going to be setting them our normal quizzes anyway. So that gives us a kind of baseline of engagement. Do you have to use it? No, you do not have to use it. And you can ignore all of this. When will Oak Academy come to an end? Well, they've said at the moment that they've been set up to help during the coronavirus crisis. The coronavirus crisis is not coming to an end that soon, at least. And they've also said that they would really like to provide a base for resourcing going forward. And there are all sorts of things floating around government at the moment, talking about creating an online school that will last beyond beyond this crisis. And I think Oak Academy will be the foundation of that. That's my suspicion anyway. So I hope that was helpful. If you are interested in using Oak Academy, as I said, please just feel free. Go onto their website, have a look around, and the setup couldn't be easier for students. I hope that was helpful, and I'll be happy to field any questions if you have any.